I decided to take control of my life and start a diary.
20 years after her big screen debut, Renée Zellweger's heroine in Bridget Jones' Diary remains one of our most relatable rom-com heroines. And yet, it's hard not to wonder whether this movie would even get made today.
New Year's resolution, drink less. Oh, and quit smoking. Oh, and keep New Year's resolutions.
The story about a characteristically average woman dissatisfied with her weight, unlucky in love, and not great at her job is, as Hugh Grant told The Guardian,
a sort of celebration of failure.
To Bridget, who cannot cook, but who we love, just as she is.
Bridget Jones is allowed to be a rom-com heroine who feels shame and exhibits unhealthy behaviors or thoughts,
I already feel like an idiot most of the time anyway.
without being villainized, pathologized, or cured.
By celebrating what's so wrong about Bridget and allowing us to laugh at her, her story encourages us to laugh at ourselves instead of trying so hard to be right all the time.
Well done, Bridge. 4 hours of careful cooking and a feast of blue soup, omelette, and marmalade.
Here's our take on Bridget Jones's refreshingly clumsy approach to life and how we can harness the power of failure in our own lives.
If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about all of our new videos. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an awesome online learning community with thousands of classes to help you develop your curiosity and passions. The first 1,000 Take viewers to use the link in our description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So check it out now and start exploring your creativity.
Scary stomach holding in pants, very popular with grannies the world over.
The most turbulent relationship Bridget has throughout the course of her 3 films is with her own body. At the top of her list of resolutions outlined in her diary is to lose weight.
Resolution number 1. Obviously, we'll lose 20 pounds.
And she measures her overall life progress in pounds.
November 9th, weight, 138 pounds.
Bridget has internalized the way that the magazine she reads and everyone she's surrounded by treat being thin as a virtue. She sees herself as not small enough and therefore not good enough.
I'd finally die fat and alone and be found 3 weeks later half-eaten by Alsatians.
The story divides women into 2 camps: thin, beautiful, eloquent, successful antagonists, and Bridget.
He also incidentally takes with him his brilliant partner-in-law, Natasha.
All these threatening, seemingly perfect women in Bridget's world are manifestations of all the things she feels she will never be, stand-ins for her subconscious challenging her.
My legs only come up to here, and yes, I will always be just a little bit fat.
Her boss and pseudo-boyfriend Daniel Cleaver cheats on her with the thinner Lara from the New York office, who, in the moment this is revealed, adds insult to injury by deeming Bridget's appearance unsatisfactory.
I thought you said she was thin.
When he reveals his engagement to Lara, what Bridget hears is that she was too insecure and too old for Daniel to love her.
Being American, something to do with confidence and being so, well, young, you know.
After Bridget finds her true match with top barrister Colin Firth's Mark Darcy,
That anxiety takes human form in Rebecca, Mark's model-esque, intelligent, and amiable colleague.
Who is Rebecca Gillies? And what's she doing going into my boyfriend's house? And with legs up to here?
while it's clear to us that Mark isn't interested in other women because he genuinely prefers Bridget, she can't trust this because it doesn't add up with the negative image she has of herself.
Why are you dancing around in that tent business?
Because I don't want you to see any of my wobbly bits.
As incredibly relatable and common as Bridget's mindset is, it's hard to imagine the Bridget Jones films being written or received the same way in our contemporary culture of body positivity.
People should naturally be body positive, and body positivity should be something that is like built in our culture.
Today, it's as if we aggressively need our female role models to be proud of their imperfections, and the second they show potential signs of giving into conventional standards, we don't know how to handle it because we regard them as symbols of our own collective defiance.
Recently, Liz embarked on a 10-day smoothie detox. Detractors could only focus on what they thought was a sign that their leader was turning her back on her legions of thick fans in favor of a slimmer waistline.
There was backlash to the trailer of 2018's I Feel Pretty because it suggested a woman who's not model thin needs a brain injury to feel she's attractive.
Oh my God, you see this? Yes.
I'm beautiful!
Or the 2019 film Brittany Runs a Marathon because it featured a main character enjoying the results of losing weight.
Brittany?
Hey, you look amazing. Babe, Brittany.
Wow, you look incredible.
Thank you, Terrence.
These stories were trying to explore why our culture makes it so hard for women to feel good about themselves if they're not a certain weight,
as well as how our fixations on our bodies are often about so much more than losing a few pounds.
You changing your life and wanting to run this marathon was never about your weight. It was about you taking responsibility for yourself.
So there can be a sense that today it's almost impossible to cover these topics correctly while telling a complex story. But demanding that both our public figures and fictional characters actively embrace everything about themselves at all times won't magically guarantee our self-acceptance, just as it doesn't help to deny that many of us do feel like Bridget a lot of the time.
Weight, 140 pounds, plus 42 mince pies.
Bridget's weight carries much more significance for her than the number on the scale she's so compulsively monitoring. In her case, there's a clear correlation between her weight and her anxiety. The more weight she gains, the less in control she feels over her life.
No, can't go back and keep making same mistakes, and will launch myself into frenzied keep fit regime.
When she feels out of control, she also indulges in unhealthy habits like smoking and drinking, which in turn contribute to her weight gain, creating a frustrating, vicious cycle.
I'm enjoying a relationship with two men simultaneously. The first called Ben, the other Jerry.
But again, real women can relate to the way that Bridget uses her vices, to have fun and forget her problems in public, and as an emotional crutch to self-soothe and silence the unrelenting mean voice in her head in private.
I will not be defeated by a bad man and an American stick insect. Instead, I choose vodka. And Chaka Khan.
While Bridget Jones may not have the answer, stories like hers can help us feel better when we not only don't look perfect, but also don't perfectly love our imperfect selves.
Weight, 4,000 pounds.
Why is it there are so many unmarried women in their 30s these days, Bridget?
Suppose it doesn't help that underneath our clothes, our entire bodies are covered in scales.
Number 2 on Bridget's list of resolutions, tied with putting last night's panties in the laundry basket, is finding a boyfriend.
We'll find nice, sensible boyfriend to go out with and not continue to form romantic attachments to any of the following: alcoholics, workaholics, commitment phobics.
Bridget sees marriage as a tangible marker that her life is going in the right direction.
At last, life is on track. Bridget Jones, fiancée, wife, mother.
And this is largely because, in Bridget's world, settling down and having babies are treated not as a choice, but as the inevitable destination of a woman's life.
Can't put it off forever, you know.
This subtly underlines that modern society isn't as far removed as we might think from Bridget Jones Diary's original inspiration, Jane Austen's 1813 novel Pride and Prejudice, where protagonist Elizabeth Bennet is judged based on her ability to marry well.
Since this isn't happening for Bridget, she's treated as an anomaly by her overbearing mother.
Never get a boyfriend if you look like you've wandered out of Auschwitz.
And acquaintances she labels smug marrieds.
The only thing worse than smug married couple. Lots of smug married couples.
All create an unrelenting pressure that leads Bridget to equate the traditional marriage and family she's not achieving with happiness.
Times are running out. Tick-tock.
But like her failure to lose weight, Bridget's failed relationships are most prominently reflections of her unhealthy or evolving feelings about herself. She goes into her relationship with her boss, Daniel Cleaver, while simultaneously vowing to herself that she won't because she already knows what kind of guy he is.
And especially will not fantasize about a particular person who embodies all these things. Unfortunately, he just happens to be my boss.
So this is essentially a way for her to confirm her poor self-esteem.
Her fear of never settling down and her viewing Daniel as out of her league caused her to overlook his eye-roll-inducing pickup lines, subtle jabs to her confidence, and underlying commitment phobia.
We're two people of a certain age looking for the moment to commit and finding it really hard. And I just think that in the end, it's got to be something extraordinary, something which makes us go that extra mile.
But ultimately, the disaster that is her relationship with Daniel is beneficial because it helps Bridget understand that she deserves better.
If I can't make it with you, I can't make it with anyone.
That's not a good enough offer for me.
She then does experience a healthy relationship with Mark Darcy, but still, she drives him away because, unlike him, she doesn't yet see herself as being great just the way she is.
I like you very much, just as you are.
When her momentous goal of marriage and babies might be within her grasp at last, Bridget self-sabotages. She becomes angry and discouraged when Mark doesn't propose right away, instead of discussing it with him rationally.
Do you want to marry me?
Look,
You see, you can never muster the strength to fight for me.
In Bridget Jones's Baby, when Bridget is single again in her 40s after reeling from a breakup with Mark 5 years earlier, she seems to have accepted life as a lonely spinster, even if she's not 100% thrilled about it.
I'm not a MILF, I'm not even a mum, I'm a spinster. I'm a spilf.
She stops trying to force the image she has in her head of what her life should be and commits to simply having fun with it.
I, Bridget Jones, am done with affairs of the heart and dedicating my autumn years to the pursuit of hedonism.
She has casual one-night stands with both dreamy billionaire Jack Quant and her lost love Mark Darcy. After the reunion with Mark, Bridget rather calmly decides to leave, which would be nothing short of blasphemous to the old Bridget Jones. But she's learned to be content on her own, determined to keep moving forward.
Sometimes it feels scary still being on my own at 43. But you and I have been here once before.
This new attitude of letting go eventually leads to her getting everything she always wanted.
Though, crucially, not in the exact way she pictured it.
This is not how I thought this moment would be. Always imagined myself in OK Magazine with the man of my dreams.
After she believes it's no longer biologically possible, she gets to become a mother, and in true Bridget Jones fashion, finds herself with not one, but two potential fathers. Jack again serves as the superficially perfect kind of distraction that Daniel once was.
Oh no. Cannot fall in love with shiny new American.
He's an obscenely rich man who's totally game to be the father of her child, even when he's not sure the baby is his. But unlike Daniel, he's also a decent guy, which reflects that her feelings about herself have evidently improved.
I was disappointed when I came back that morning and you'd gone.
You were?
We had an amazing night, and I thought you were great.
And whereas she waited for Daniel to break her heart, this time she realizes on her own that while Jack is a great catch, he's not who she wants to be with.
We could be so good for each other. 97%.
On paper. But falling in love doesn't happen on paper.
Just as earlier in the movie, Mark learns the hard way it doesn't pay to settle for the perfect on-paper partner.
We're getting a divorce.
The most important takeaway from Bridget's love life is that she gains something with every relationship failure, mistake, or heartbreak. Each renders her one step closer to understanding the life and love she wants, and realizing that yes, she does deserve it.
I'm not willing to gamble my whole life on someone who's, well, not quite sure. It's like you said, I'm still looking for something more extraordinary than that.
After she at last learns to love herself, she and Mark can be together for real.
With the blissful family happily ever after of their dreams.
I, Bridget Jones, am a singleton no more. Married? Yes. Smug? Maybe just a little.
Still, even if this never happened for her, we really get the sense that it would be okay.
You don't really need them, you know. Absolutely capable of doing this on your own.
Suddenly hard-headed journalist, ruthlessly committed to promoting justice and liberty. Nothing can distract me from my dedication to the pursuit of truth.
It's in her professional life that Bridget exemplifies the positive power of failure most of all. Bridget's career starts out as essentially background noise, while she fixates on her weight and love life. But over time, almost as a byproduct of her failing to perfectly achieve those two things, it takes off, and Bridget surprises herself by evolving into a pretty impressive working woman.
Bridget Jones, already a legend.
Oh joy, I am broadcasting genius.
In her trademark fashion, she gets there not by having a clear vision and a perfectly polished game plan, but by essentially failing up.
That seems to be about all we've got time for down here in Lewisham. Chief Officer Bevan, thank you very much. Excellent fire station.
Her professional progress mirrors her trajectory in romantic relationships. She jumps in without thinking things through and fumbles throughout.
Emergency summit with Urban Family for coherent discussion of career crisis.
Until she eventually finds her voice and what she wants.
Josh, I need you to see what Reuters are saying about the attacks on Ramallah. We might need a live link.
By repeatedly messing up, sometimes very publicly.
Thank you for coming to the launch of one of the top 30 books of our time. Anyway, at least.
Bridget develops a sense of independence and resilience. She gets to know herself and learns to pick herself up after the worst happens.
Sodomore, it was a brilliant postmodernist masterpiece of oratorical fireworks, really.
Another wrong thing Bridget does in her career is to consistently muddle her professional and personal lives.
Have been seduced by informality of messaging medium into flirting with office scoundrel.
Her workplace romance with Daniel is totally inappropriate, especially by today's standards.
Yet, in a way, getting it so wrong helps radically open Bridget's eyes to how much she's settling in both spheres.
When she stands up to Daniel, demanding more for her personal life, in the same action, she starts to take control of her career.
I've been offered a job in television.
Television?
And they want me to start straight away.
Why does she choose television specifically? She doesn't know.
I've got to leave my current job because I've shagged my boss.
Still, she makes progress due to her willingness to just keep going, put herself out there, and fake it till she makes it.
You do know the Agani Heaney case?
Yes, of course. Big case.
Even when she's terrified at her new job, she pushes herself to go outside her comfort zone and makes up for her lack of experience through earnest effort and eagerness to do a good job.
Climb back up, climb back up! On you in 30 seconds.
Okay.
She's supposed to be sliding down the pole, not climbing up it. Go, 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 go!
Okay.
When she bombs her first newscast, again, failure works for her as the episode goes viral.
Excellent. I'm national laughingstock.
Which gets her more assignments she can carry out with her distinctive, boldly haphazard style.
This is Bridget Jones reporting to you from a big vat of excrement.
By the third film, when she's no longer distracted by her obsessive pursuit of finding the one, Bridget has channeled her diligent work into real success as a lead producer.
I could always take consolation in my job as top news producer.
However much she's grown though, deep down, she's still the same Bridget. She approaches new challenges like learning about millennials with her signature fumbling optimism.
Do you need the loo, Bridget? No, I want to volunteer.
#let's do this.
She continues to make the same mistakes, like inappropriately mixing her personal and professional life to intersect when she pries into Jack's personal life on her show.
It's apparent you have everything. Why have you chosen to have no family?
Why the decision to have no family and
no children?
no children?
She experiences major humiliations.
We are ready and on the front line, asking the questions the world wants answers to.
Career down the toilet.
While not having time to linger on it because she's distracted by the men in her life.
Both men in the same room. What could possibly go wrong?
She's now entered an era when not just male missteps, but also Bridget's lapses of judgment or impulsive actions are more likely to be held to account.
How about for interviewing a chauffeur instead of a general? Using a TV interview to determine if a guest might be the father of her child and being responsible for the broadcast of 6 bare asses.
But when she gets fired, she stands up to another boss.
But I would rather be old-fashioned and unemployed than part of a show that celebrates the inane.
And, given what we've seen before, we know she'll pick herself up and figure out what to do next.
I, Bridget Jones, am going to be the best mother in the world.
Bridget Jones Diary's style of getting things wrong and not improving into too much of a role model may have fallen out of fashion, but there are some more powerful modern stories that have followed in her footsteps, examining what it's like not to have the perfect body image.
I feel like you totally missed the point of those Dove ads.
Marriage.
I feel like her life is going off and getting perfect, and mine's just like...
Or career.
If you put in nothing, it'll be nothing.
Like your career?
While it's normal to want to fix everything that's wrong with us, we should instead appreciate the things that set us apart. Bridget has compelling gifts that majorly outweigh her flaws, like always being there for her friends and family, speaking up for herself, and knowing how to let loose and have fun. So in order to unlock our deepest powers, we have to learn to get comfortable with messing up from time to time, or a lot of times.
You've turned disasters into triumphs. With your sheer, joyful, indefatigable, infectious lust for life.
This is The Take. What do you want our take on next?
Thanks so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking to learn a new skill and are searching for a community of fellow creatives, Skillshare will give you both. They offer thousands of affordable classes designed to fit your schedule, with short video lessons that you can pause and come back to at any time. One Skillshare original you can check out right now is activist and author Chidera Egeru's class on creating a self-care routine. By the end of this empowering class, you'll learn to invest in yourself, have hard conversations, and bring affirmations into your daily life. Right now, Skillshare is offering our viewers a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, but that's only if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below. So join today and jumpstart your creative journey for less than $10 a month with an annual subscription.